The Rings of Power writers are here yet again to demonstrate to us just how little of a shit they give about the Lord of the Rings, the universe, about Tolkien, his writings, and, well, generally just about everything. With this little interviews feature thing here, which has a series of pictures about the upcoming show, which, hey, on the right side at least they don't look as cheap as the preceding ones, so that's something. And we'll have a closer look at some of them, but the standout part here is a little snippet from an interview, where the showrunners goes on to say some particularly retarded stuff. Starting with, quote, "He is one of the characters most ripe for deepening because everyone knows him," referring to Isildur here, explains co-showrunner J.D. Payne. Again, fitting name. Who created The Rings of Power with Patrick McKay. He's most defined by his final fatal decision to keep the ring, when he has the chance to throw the ring into Mount Doom and destroy Sauron forever, and he chooses incorrectly. We sort of said, how do you make that a tragic turn in an otherwise very human, relatable, and heroic arc? Well, I don't know, how about you read what Tolkien has already written about Isildur, because his entire story is a heroic one. Isildur's entire life, and that is of his predecessors' ancestors, is in opposition to Sauron. His final decision to keep the ring, but bear in mind as well, at no point in the actual Lord of the Rings does he climb the steps out to Mount Doom and then stop at the precipice of destroying the ring and turn around. That never happened. That is made up movie nonsense, telling me that the only thing that the actual showrunners have researched here is the bloody movie rather than the actual Silmarillion, because Isildur's entire story is one of heroics, and then one fatal mistake, which he even realizes is a mistake, when he is ambushed by the orcs and is killed and has the ring being lost and eventually picked up by Gollum. He is traveling to the elves to seek their counsel about what to do with the ring. He had even figured out that it was a mistake to keep it, so the showrunners now going, oh, how do we make him a tragic hero? Just baffles me. And oh hell, does it truly baffles me? Is it a surprise that they haven't even bothered to research the source material? Of course not. Again, as I have said on so many times, Amazon's The Rings of Power is not an attempt to create a Lord of the Rings story. It is an attempt to make the Lord of the Rings an Amazon property, to rebrand it entirely into an Amazon entity. And bear you in mind as well, so they're talking about Isildur here and not throwing the ring into Mount Doom. Remind me here, but I'm pretty damn sure that they don't actually have the rights to the Silmarillion, which is kind of the problem here, because a lot of what we're talking about here is Silmarillion, and I don't think they have the right to that. Which means that if they're going to do anything with Isildur, they're going to have to make it up whole cloth, completely ignoring Tolkien's writing on it, or otherwise being very cheeky about what they actually have and have the rights to create. Oh, yep, here we go. I was a bit unsure, so I actually looked it up, and this is the showrunner himself saying, we have the rights solely to The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, The Appendices, and The Hobbit. There you go. So whatever they're going to be making for Isildur here is going to be created whole cloth. It is going to be made in direct opposition to what Tolkien probably wrote Isildur as. Well, again, I'm just going to take the win on the correctness score there, I guess, that this is going to be simply an Amazon property and have nothing to do with The Lord of the Rings. So let's look at a couple of the pictures as well, just to give it a fair hearing. We've got one here, and immediately the show does not look as cheap anymore, which is nice, you know. The clothing is not quite what I would have expected from Numenor, but the ship scene looks pretty good right here, not too bad. Let's move on to the next one, which immediately undermines all of this, as here we have Miriel, apparently now as the Queen Regent of Numenor. Now, Miria, again, my Lord of the Rings knowledge is a bit sketchy, I must admit, but I am pretty sure Miriel was never Queen Regent of Numenor at any point. In fact, I believe a large part of the story is the fact that she is the heir of Numenor and actually has her claim to the throne usurped by someone who forcibly marries her. Oh, and by the way, so this is the Queen Regent of Numenor here. You know, the incredibly tall, fine-skinned, blonde, blue-haired people. Why? Because it's 2022. Now, to be fair, not all of the Numenorians, or the people living on the Isles, were blonde or fair-haired, but they were certainly all fair-skinned. To give you a bit of an idea, this is a more accurate rendition of the character. I can see the striking similarities between the two, can't you? Absolutely fantastic. Now, there were, I believe, supposedly some Druidin who traveled to Numenor as well, but they certainly were not in Miriel's lineage. And nor do I think that the showrunners have any idea what that even is, mind you. So, bit of good old-fashioned blackwashing of the Numenorians there, of course. Here we have some Numenorian cavalry. Again, the tall, blonde, fair-skinned and blue-eyed people. Of course. Also, like I like the scale mail because the idea of Numenor is it's very Atlantean, you know, the ocean, the blah 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 English. God damn it, the island raised from the sea. There you go. And eventually that sunk back beneath the sea again. That inspiration is supposed to be far more nautical and marine inspired, which is why I like the scale mail, because it's got a little bit of that fish scale kind of feel. But the helmets and like the cavalry style and this thing in particular and the banners, I don't know, strikes me as far more Roman than Atlantean. It strikes me as a bit Rohirrim as well. I'm not a tremendous fan of that, just as I'm not a tremendous fan of the Numenorians themselves being, of course, incredibly diverse, obviously. Here we have Galadriel and Elendil riding along the coast. I still don't mind Galadriel that much. Again, the fact that they made her into the warrior princess is sigh-worthy, but just like the diversity, it's the current year. You can't help it. Now, I thoroughly do believe, as I've mentioned on several occasions, that the tides are turning, but it's gonna take another couple of years at least, because the tides turn a hell of a lot faster than a company's internal thinking does. We're gonna be seeing shit like this for another 3-4 years at the very least, before the box office failures finally begins catching up to them properly. Do like the horse though, very ephemeral and quite elven. I don't like Galadriel's presentation here. Again, a little bit too... The Lord of the Rings movies by Peter Jackson did a fantastic job of making the elves look ephemeral and elven, you know? They came across as an actual mystical, majestical, magical race. Here, she's just some chick riding a horse on the beach. In fact, the horse looks more elven and ephemeral than she does. Come on. All you really need to do here is paint on a nice thick layer of pale makeup, okay? Make her look ethereal rather than just a human. Oh, I can't even see the spiky ears here. Not too like it. Some of the scenes from Numenor itself, the internal court politics, the mix of like Greek, Roman stuff, a little bit of Assyrian in there too. I don't mind, it looks okay. The set looks alright. Usual diverse casting of Numenorians, obviously. I don't think there's a blonde person in this entire goddamn picture. God damn it. Oh, but at least the main bad guy's white, so, you know, there you go. Here we go again, the main family here. I get like this. This doesn't look very good. This looks cheap. The rest of the set looks okay. Not fantastic, but it's alright. It's up to the standard I would at least minimally expect from Amazon. Galadriel here, looking like the warrior princess again. Yes, yes, yes. Strong female character. I've seen this story arc before. The dwarves. This one was weird to me. Okay, so you got the heavy Assyrian-inspired dwarves here, right? You've got some, well, straight-up chaos dwarf-looking bastards, and then you've got this dirty dude in the middle. Is this supposed to be Durin? I think it might be Durin. Wash? I guess. Maybe he's straight from the mines or something. Okay, fair enough. Bit weird, but... Ah, yes, there you go. Do it in the fourth center there. At least he's not black, so that's a thing, I guess. Doom-scrolling, more Galadriel looking... probably... Again, I've already called this part. It's going to be her that's going to figure out that, oh, hey, hold on. Sauron equals bad. There's bad stuff afoot. We should do something. And the final one of the Queen Regent. How she came to be that, I don't even know. Actually, for shits and giggles, let's see if we can find a blonde person in Numenor. Maybe, kinda, slightly. By the way, my standard of blonde is myself. Anything less blonde is not. Oh, there you go, 2. There we are. We've got 2. Ah, there. Yeah, that might be a hat, but let's give that a go. That's 3 blonde people. Yep, no, is that it? Passable. Possible? So let's be charitable. 4 blonde people. And yeah, there we go. There's 4 blonde people in the Númenórean court. Fantastic. Again, why? Because Curran, yeah, and frankly, the racial part of this is just what I expect from Amazon at this point. It is racial politics all the way. For them, it is the foremost important thing in their minds. And telling a good Lord of the Rings story doesn't even register, to the point that I haven't even bothered reading the goddamn source material that they're going to be making characters from. Garbage. But hey, on the bright side, I'm looking forward to it being garbage so I can poke fun of it most happily and most mightily. I'm sure this one will be a banger. I am looking forward to it almost as much as The Woman King, in fact. Until next time, though, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for listening, and I hope to see you all again soon. Hopefully with even more Lord of the Rings, as, can it get worse? I'm sure it can. I haven't even bothered covering the latest trailer, by the way, because frankly, it tells us diddly dick nothing of substance. Until next time, have a good day.